Tell me something, I never understood this. Why, like, I'm getting interested in this.
Yeah, sure. Please, let's go.
Why a player moves to a different company? Is it because of the pay? Is it because like a proper जैसा employee employer में होता है culture, pay?
Correct.
वैसा ही चीज होता है, or is it because of the vehicle, engineer? Like,
Got
what are
it.
typical reasons
Got
for
it.
someone to
Got
move?
it.
Let's take example of Hamilton right now.
Got it. So, I think I'll tell you the Hamilton story, but before that, I'll tell you like what are the three main reasons as to why people might move, right? One is the predominant main that all drivers want to win. They want like they're at the core, like you have to have that drive, right? It's not key. I'll come in second, I'll come in third. It's not good enough. They want to win, so they're always on the lookout for a better team, a better car to move on to, right? In most a better management per se, right? It also happens.
And that back-end team also, that engineering.
Yeah, all of it is a pack. All of it is a pack. See, all of it translates into you having a faster car. So the drivers will naturally move towards like a faster car. Yeah. But here in the case of Hamilton, he's moving from Mercedes, which is also like a great constructor. So these companies are called constructors, by the way. Like they're not called, like the technical term for them is constructors. So he's moving from Mercedes as a constructor to Ferrari. And he stayed with Mercedes, I think 8 seasons. And this move is largely because Mercedes has not been able to give him a good car for 2 consecutive seasons. Like last year. In fact, 2021 he's lost. 2021 he lost very closely to Max. 2022 was a huge loss. 2023 is very bad. 2024 is also like turning out to be very bad. So he's moving to Ferrari solely because of that, right? Ferrari is offering him a better package. When I say package, I mean the car and the team behind it.
But why wouldn't Mercedes offer him a good car if they know he is a player?
So Mercedes is not able to nail the engineering. Simple.
Acha, they don't have that.
Yeah. So what happens is every 2 years, F1 changes regulations, like how the car has to be designed, right?
Small tweaks.
Small tweaks. They also change. They also give you like a broad aerodynamic overhaul happens every 2 years. Which means that every 2 years, your constructor has to nail the correct design for that car, right? If you don't get it right, then those 2 years are a washout. Those 2-3 years are a washout. So Mercedes dominated for a period of 7 years, but last 4 years have been a washout. So he's now moving to Ferrari. That's now, of course, second reason is more money, right? I don't know
how much are they paid and how does the pay structure work for a driver.
So there are 2 components. I'm amazed I know so much, right? There are like 2 components in the pay structure. There's a fixed fee, which is their annual salary. And there is a, like, depending on how much points you earn, right? They link points to your pay, right? I think one interesting thing here is that there was this guy called Kimi Raikkonen, who was also like a one-time world champ. He was driving for Ferrari.
I know. That time only I used to watch it. I think 7 years, 10 years back.
Yes. So Kimi, I think in one of his first seasons, drove for a constructor called Lotus.
Okay.
So Lotus is now no longer around. So when he drove, and Lotus didn't really know how good of a driver he was, right? So they offered him like a massive variable component. You score XYZ points, and then for every point we'll give you XYZ money, right? He almost took Lotus bankrupt in that season because he scored so many points. Like Lotus went bankrupt, was on the verge of bankruptcy. So that variable component is like very shaky.
But then Lotus, so 2 aspects. So one, driver is making money, fixed salary. What is a typical fixed salary of a top-notch player?
Of a top-notch driver. So if I'm not wrong, if I'm not wrong, like Max and all will be like the range is usually between 5 to 25. Like if you're a very small driver on the grid, you'll make
$5 to $25
million. Yeah, basic. And if you're a top-notch driver, in fact, it goes up, right? Like Max and all, I don't know, they make north of 30-35 now.
Okay, Max.
Max is the current world champion. Lewis will also make that much. If I'm not wrong, Max might be touching 40. That's a fixed.
Variable.
Is linked to your points, like how many points per point you'll probably have like some
dollars.
So uske upar they have obviously, if you see F1 cars now, they're always loaded with sponsors. Like there's not like an inch of space on the F1 car. So you make a lot of money on sponsorships.
But that company will make, that Hamilton will not make. So that the constructor company.
Even the driver has personal sponsors. So if you see the merchandise the driver wears, so the driver owns.
That goes to the driver's own pocket.
Yes, the driver has a helmet that he wears. So helmet pe branding is all the drivers.
But major branding will be of that constructor company. Like
that is on the car. On the helmet, he's free to, like, usually
that's his personal.
That's his personal. Yes.
Got it. So it's like a cricketer only.
This is more or less like cricket. Yes, you're right. Like
jersey has
yes,
to be.
but you own the sticker paisa that comes on the bat, right? It's very similar there. Correct.
Okay, understood. Got it. And how does the company make money? The constructor company.
So constructors make money again. Three main sources, right? One is they make money from all the ads that are there on the car, their sponsors. They make a
revenue.
Yeah, they make ticketing revenue is again driven by the F1 organizing committee, and then they get a share of it. There's telecast, broadcast rights that you get money out of. I think these are three main sources.
इसमें home away ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं होता ना?
हाँ, there's no
neutral venues for everyone.
Neutral venues for everyone. There's one concept here. So if you recognize, each constructor belongs to a country. Like Mercedes calls, so where their plant is located, right? So Mercedes calls UK their home because their factory is in Silverstone, which is very close to the Silverstone circuit.
Yeah.
Red Bull calls Austria their home because Red Bull is a Austrian brand. Though it is, by the way, though it's majority owned by a Thai group now, Red Bull is an Austrian thing for all practical purposes. So the Austrian ring is called the Red Bull ring. There's a huge bull and a ring around the bull in the Austrian circuit. Likewise for the others also, like McLaren calls UK their home, Williams calls UK their home. So people have different homes, but yeah.
So now I want to know, because India may be aaya tha, Noida.
Correct. Right? Both international circuit.
Yes. What happened to that? Why it did not pick up in India? Why it got shut? What was the reason? As far as I remember, I think it was some taxation wala thing. Entertainment tax was there. Levied on the ticket fees or something like that was there, if I'm not wrong. But is there some other reason also?
This one, see, I think I've heard different stories. I'll tell you the two stories that I've heard, right? And we can choose what we want to pick. Like ultimately, like what narrative we choose to believe. One is F1 did, I think, 2 or 3 races in the Booth International one, if I'm not wrong.
One only.
I think they did 2. I think they did 2. 2 I remember. I'm not sure if the third one happened or not.
Recently they had done one.
No. Recently MotoGP has happened. F1 has not happened.
Correct. But in the same circuit.
Same circuit. So I think you have to. So there are a set number of races in a year. Like I think there are anywhere between 20 to 25 races that happen in a calendar, and different tracks lobby for it. By the way, like for example,
you have to pay.
I don't know what. Like you really don't know what is the economics of how a track ends up on a calendar. But there is a lot of competition for it. And to think of it this way, right? If there are only 25 races in a year, and you have some standard legacy tracks which can't go out, which are very famous, like the Silverstone in UK, the Monaco one in Monaco, the Austrian one, the Hungary one,
Dubai one,
the Italy one, which is home of Ferrari. All of these can't go out. There are like 2 tracks in Italy. So 10 are like fixed. They're like standard fixtures, can't really go out, right? It's like you're going and playing in England, right? You have to play in Lords. So, those categories. So those are 10 are gone, right? And then now you have the sport trying to push the race into more richer countries. Let's say US. US was never a F1 following country. But now US has two races on the calendar. They're adding few more. So there's Miami, there's Texas. They're adding a couple more. So they're pushing, let's say, 2 or 3, 4 races into the US category, right? They have one in Canada, one in Mexico, because they want to make the race popular in North America. Again, high GDP per capita, high spending, more sponsorships. So you're like 5-6 races gone there. Then you'll not believe it, the rest of the 5-6 races are all Middle Eastern races today, right? You have like one in Abu Dhabi, one in Qatar. You can't Bahrain mein ek hota hai. There's good money there. And these guys have signed lifetime contracts, by the way, with F1, that you will have a race the last race will happen with us, etc. And the great sponsorships also, like, so you have like 3-4 races gone. There's one that happens in China. Like one might happen in China, one might happen in Japan, one might happen in Australia. So between all of this, I don't see like how they'll land up in India, or like why India is a market for lacking behind. The other one, of course, I don't know about this, but there could be some challenges that they faced last time, like the taxation one. But I'm not sure.
There was a taxation issue. I think the entertainment tax. So as far as I remember, I think India charged them on an entertainment tax basis, counting it as an entertainment, right? But those guys didn't want because I think entertainment tax is very high, right? 30-35%, and which they did not want them to be charged as an entertainment, because The F1 body did not see F1 as an entertainment. They saw
Okay.
it as a sport. I'm also not sure if this is the actual reason, or maybe what the version that you gave is the actual reason, but this is somewhere which I've heard or read somewhere.
Mine is just the economics 101, right? Like why India does not make sense.
Yeah, it's a demand supply one.
It's follow the money.
Yes, follow the money. And that makes sense.